Hello class, today I am going to be talking to you guys about my interview that I had with my educational leader. My interviewee his name was Samuel Muhire. He is someone that is based over in Rwanda, Africa. His title and what he does is that he's a Deputy Director of Management of Finances in the company of Peace Corps, and I had the interview with him April 15th at 6 a.m. in the morning because of the big time difference that there is from here where I'm located to over there, which is like a 9-hour difference. Some roles, responsibilities of my advocacy leader is that his main role is focusing on the financial and administration side of the agency. He is very focused on being able to kind of manage the financial side to kind of save money for the United States, because since it's in a United States organization, he focuses on being able to do that in the best way possible to continue to be able to work through this organization. And he also focuses on protecting the agency against any lawsuits or problem that presents themselves due to misconduct of any sort that would happen when doing this work that they do. The advocacy style of my leader, he has a system advocacy. He focuses on being able to provide volunteers to communities and managing the financial side of what is being done. He wants there to be a bigger passion for what is needed in those communities rather than what someone wants to offer. It is more so that he focuses on what they need from the volunteers and what they need from himself than what he himself would want to provide for them. He is somebody that is very passionate. Samuel is someone who has passion for what he does and works to look back and be proud of what he has been able to do for the volunteers and the communities. Data-driven decision making. He helps volunteers be more driven and passionate about what they do, so much more them serving the community rather than them getting benefits from the community to them. He pushes volunteers to go above and beyond the thinking beyond what could be done, because since there's no really you have to do this to the book or you have to do this and next, because they focus a lot more on the volunteers being able to teach them what the volunteers know based off of culture or their experiences. And he promotes friendships to together be able to learn more from one another. Learning experiences that he provides for others. Samuel is someone who encourages others. He finds ways to be able to save money for the United States so that they are able to continue to bring more volunteers over to the countries that they do this work in. Works for the community to be able to see what is needed for them and not just what people want help in. It's more so an everybody in general thing, not just one or two people. He focuses on being able to provide the smaller things rather than going straight to the nation. He promotes to others that working with what is there at their community works best, because a lot of the times it's not so much being about like the fancier side of things or the being more kind of, you could say, spoiled, quote unquote, with technology and with all this other stuff that isn't necessarily needed, but he promotes the being able to work with what is there and what is something that is at their reach that they can do to improve. Assessment and evaluation of learners. He focuses on this organization and himself focus on the education, the health, and agriculture of this is the 3 ways that they help the communities and the students and the children. They work that allows all communities to come as one. The focus is a lot more on if the students are getting what they need through the education that they are getting, not so much being fancy about it, more so well-trained volunteers to provide this help. They want to see that there is a growth in the community and with the kids, like learning English. Samuel focuses more on the need that there is in the community, improving the communities and the people that live in those communities, providing volunteers to these communities is to be able to portray and teach the children different skills and experiences that the volunteers bring to the table. And to be able to describe a way that I would want to be able to work and for my advocacy in this organization, and kind of what he explained to me, is I came up with the idea of being able to start an organization inside of Peace Corps, which would be named Education in a Box. It is something that I think would be a great way to be able to start spreading education to children in communities that don't get much attention. This would work in the way that providing volunteers from well-educated places to go to areas of need to educate people, so that when those educated people those educated people are well educated and well trained, they are able to help their own communities. And it's something that is just gonna kind of rotate in between them because of how much more education is being brought to them, that they then are able to spread to their own people. The reason that I would want to call it Education in a Box would be because it is how it would start. Because of trying to keep expenses not too high, the educator and the person being trained would receive a box with supplies with the solar power iPads, computers, basic supplies, and materials needed to train the local person being educated to then be able to teach the people in their communities. How the leader advocates for others. Samuel is someone that will see beyond what is needed and really sees what the community is actually in need of. He stands for more than just the financial side of things, and he doesn't see a point in the fancy financial things being provided, but the actual necessary things being provided to actually make an impact. He advocates for what is really needed and for there being innovations done through the volunteers and what they bring to the table. A very big aha moment that I had, I think, was the fact that I sometimes get carried away, or I think people in general sometimes get carried away, is that Samuel, it made me realize and explain to me that no amount of money in the world is ever going to be what makes an impact. What really makes an impact is getting the community you are trying to help to tell you what is really needed and getting them to come together to work for what is needed. And it is when you know that you've made the biggest impact, because you start to see this happening in what you're trying to help in. These are my references, and thank you guys so much for listening.